You're listening to the Unreasonable Fridays Podcast Network.
What's cracking, people? Y'all ready? Let's go. This beat make me feel like a cunt. This make me feel like a cunt. This make me feel like a cunt. Cunt.
Good evening, my fellow sexual subjects. You are listening to a broadcast of the CuntCast podcast, a conversation with a classically characterized cunt, carefully crafted with cognizant courage to champion conscientious consummation. What to do, my people? I am the Jailery, your host, and I am joined, as always, by my favorite human being, Mr. Aaron Rand Freeman. How are you, sir?
Doing all right. Doing all right. Still in Texas. Still riding out this pandemic. Politically engaged. For some reason. I'm kind of getting off to the sentences and the competence. Like, I don't think Joe Biden is particularly going to be a wonderful. I don't think he's great. He's my first choice, obviously, but
Yeah.
you kind of don't realize the importance of sentences. Or someone, responding to questions as they're being asked, or looking people in the eye when they talk and stuff. And it's just like things like that, just competent sentience across the board. Positions in the White House being filled. I'm just like following all this, and I shouldn't be so excited by it, but I am.
Like, I live with my parents right now, and they are the type of people that just have like the news on 24/7, such as CNN all the time, MSNBC all the time. And I used to be filled with so much dread to come downstairs and be like, oh, what is he doing now? I don't want to hear this. And now it's just like normal shit. We're gonna do a presser. The press secretary answers questions competently, uh, acknowledges the press as human beings. Uh, the president hasn't decided whole groups of people should be banned from the country. It's refreshing. I mean, it's sad that we're relieved, but yeah. I'm gonna apologize for listeners if I sound super nasally, because I have a sinus infection and there's nothing I can do about it because I'm terrified to go to the doctor because I don't want to get COVID. So I'm suffering.
I mean, there are a lot of us taking a lot of illnesses right now in the interest of not getting sick. So you are legion, and I'm certain there are a lot of people who are sitting at home trying to orange juice and tea some illness away because they don't want to have to go to the doctor or hospital.
Yeah,
For
I've
any
tried
reason.
sorry. As I talk, it might like squick. Sorry, I'm at that stage of the sinus infection, where I do feel like my eyes are gonna pop out of my head. I'm not gonna lie, it's very uncomfortable. Uh, I do not. I'm feeling like I thought I was at like feeling zero sexiness. Now I'm like in the negatives of how sexy I feel. Now I just feel like a gush monster, not the good way. Um, I don't uh, I don't want my NISI violated for a COVID test, which is what they will give me if I want to get treated for my sinus infection. And also, I just sound like a kid who gets picked last for kickball, and it's not doing wonders for my self esteem, but I'm working through it. So it's been a little while, mostly because I couldn't talk, and I was super sick. I am glad that have the powers of speech. Kind of seems like a superpower. What, what did we miss while I was in my state of disarray? Ooh, okay. So right before we started recording, I introduced you to the concept uh, of candy mac and cheese because Kraft woke up and chose violence. And
Everybody's been home too long. That's really the long. Everyone, even the people who work for Kraft, have also been home too long. But please continue.
I think they got like excited because everybody was like screaming macaroni in a pot. And they were like, yes, it's our time. But like we like it's a joke that we pair macaroni and romance. Like we don't want romantic macaroni and cheese, but for some reason, the good minds at Kraft want to give us hot pink candy flavored mac and cheese. Uh, and the dye is made from carrots and beetroot, which I think would be fine if they just dyed regular mac and cheese. So you get like the color, but they have a packet of sweetness that adds sugar and vanilla, and I think that is an abomination. Uh, what are your thoughts?
My initial thought was that it was dessert pasta. Like, pasta in and of itself is versatile. You can put things in pasta, and pasta helps. It's good. It's adds texture. It's fine. I didn't understand that they were going to actually try to keep the cheese thing going. So they're flavoring the melted cheese powder thing that makes up Kraft macaroni and cheese. So they're not, it's not like mac and cheese, a brand name. It's like, no, this is macaroni and fucking pink flavored candy cheese.
Yeah, and I've had dessert pasta. It was made with like it's basically like I've had a few, but one had like a bechamel, but it was made with very sweet cheese. Um, and it was kind of like a very super fluffy cheesecake with like a creme brulee kind of top. It was very different, and I thought I was gonna hate it, but I was like, okay, I kind of get where you're going. Like, it wasn't super sweet, but it was sweet for pasta and cheese. It was like a ruddy cheesecake. That makes sense. Um, and I've had a dessert pasta where it was like a lasagna, but with like uh, how do they say it? It was like steamed kind of fruit. It was like highfalutin, but I thought it was gonna be gross, and it was actually really nice. But that is not hot pink powdered mac and cheese.
You know what?
Though I
I'll go on.
oh, I actually think it would be worse if it was like gooey Velveeta that they put the
You know,
candy in.
the problem is that we never stopped with all the weird flavors of cookies. For the record, like, if you want to know how we got here to why you have to not eat pink flavored candy cheese powder, is because when Oreo was like, how about we have like baseball stadium hot dog filling on our Oreos? No one stopped them. So now everyone's like, well, fuck it. We can have filling. We can make flavors. We have chemists. We have chemists, right? And then they
I
do.
think Kit Kats are to blame.
Um,
But Kit Kats did it like highfalutin. Like there are like hundreds of varieties of Kit Kat,
right.
but they make like golden honey and lychee. Like they make nice flavors. It's not like uh friggin' red hots and beer or whatever the fuck Oreo has going on.
I mean, she's gonna be looking.
Actually, I also think it was a pumpkin spice because Kraft also made pumpkin spice. Though, as I said before, I wasn't as offended at the pumpkin spice mac and cheese because I've had my Yamalo and my baked mac and cheese touch, and it was mwah. But I think trying to mass produce it with dried cheese and uh, the worst quality pasta that should not have emboldened them. Yet here we are. I feel like this is the vestiges of the Trump era. Just uh, running on a lot of hubris and a lack of care for the order of the universe. it also looks like ground meat that has been like left out. Like you ever seen it like dry,
Yes, it does look like it does. It does have the consistency of of ground meat.
or it looks like Mortal Kombat intestines.
Yeah.
Just looks disgusting. And it's out just in time for Valentine's Day, but you have to enter a lottery uh, at candycraftmacandcheese.com. Uh, and you have until February 8th to enter. And then they're gonna give out 1,000 winners and it'll get it.
My question is, what is the winning situation in which you introduce pink Kraft mac and cheese to any in like so if you're by yourself, why do you care? But if you're with someone, when are you celebrating Valentine's Day? Like even as a gag, you I guess it's a gag. It has to be a gag because there's no winning situation where you're generating pink Kraft mac and cheese in a
Um,
serious scenario. I refuse
I
to
kind
believe
of
it.
feel like it's the people who go to White Castle on Valentine's Day and they like make a reservation at the White Castle to have their Valentine's Day dinner there. Like it has to be like a goof between people. Like I don't know, for whatever reason, maybe your meet cute was Kraft mac and cheese themed, and that's like your anniversary thing. Like that's your thing as a couple. I don't want to meet you or talk to you if that's your thing as a couple. But it could be people's things. I mean, everybody has weird things. Um, but yeah, I do give them kudos for not trying to sell this, like in mass. Like they're literally going to give it away because I don't think anybody should exchange anything that is valuable for this trash. But if anybody enters and wins, oh my god, please, please tell me how this tastes.
I mean, we should do it.
I
I'm gonna do it
You
now.
want to enter?
I'm doing it. What was that
All
link?
right. It is where is it? Candycraftmacandcheese.com.
Yes, we're doing it. You can continue. I'm signing up.
Oh, okay.
Yep, entry
it'll
form. We're
it'll
doing it.
come to you and you'll be our tester.
I'm not saying I'm gonna eat it.
You have to eat it if you get it. That's the whole thing.
What I look like?
You can't enter to win and then not eat the fruits of your labor.
If
Like
they're
you
not
have
serious, here's the deal. If they're not serious about mass producing this, I'm not gonna be serious about eating it. This is not a standard flavor. It's not like you can get it in the supermarket. They're giving it out. They're giving it out because they're tipping their toe in the water and saying who likes this trash. And so if they're not serious, I ain't gotta be serious. I'm just saying. They put that up. If they put this on store shelves, I'll eat it. But they're fucking around. Bet I'll fuck around too. We're ball fucking around. Good times
it's a
for Valentine's.
limited time mac and cheese experience. It's
Right.
for the true
Totally. Yes, I agree with you.
mac heads, I guess.
Listen. I might try a little bit, but we'll see. Right now, we're out here.
If you enter and if you win, you have to eat it.
It's on the listeners. That's really it. It's on the listeners. Yeah. If, like I said, you can convince them, you convince enough of them to convince me, we'll do the thing.
Yes, I will definitely support that. So yeah, let's use public shaming slash what do you call that thing that happens to teenagers?
Peer pressure.
There you go, peer pressure, to get him to eat that sweet sweet trash.
I am so excited. I'm done. I entered it. Yes, it begins.
I can't wait. It's gonna be delicious.
All right. Now that we've done that, now that we've sorted out critical housekeeping, oh, what else do we have?
Yes, sorry. I was full of goo. Uh, so there's a a hot new song sweeping the nation. Have you heard it?
Um,
By
mm,
enterprising songstress Danny Lay or Lee? Danny Lee?
I
I
say
don't really remember.
um
Uh,
I say Danny Lay. I mean I could be wrong. I'm willing to be wrong. Um,
yes, Yellow Mode. Have you? I don't know
I've,
if you still have it queued up. Can you play a
oh
snippet for our
god,
audience?
yes we can. Let's see here. Let's find.
Yellow bonus, what he wants, what he wants. Yellow bonus, what he wants, what he wants, what he wants. Para Miguel se lo van, para Miguel what I want. Yellow, what he wants, what he wants. Yellow bonus, what he wants.
Okay, that's about enough for that.
What? I mean that was perfectly fine music to play on the it was fine music. The music
Yeah.
was fine. It was fine music.
So not only is it a just fails on so many levels of musicianship, but Danny Lee or Lay or whatever the fuck is not the yellow mode she claims to be. And Twitter, oh, they're having a time with it. Not only has she made, I think, two apologies now, one worse than the first, uh, where she just will not say the word black, which is a key sign that somebody is themselves not black. Um, but she's lashed out at the haters. The first time she addressed the song, which she dropped a snippet of, and I'm gonna say song, even though I think that should be in air quotations, like song, because she sounds that song sounds the way racism feels. It's not good. It's bad. Uh, I usually don't want to say this because art, but like it's bad. It's just objectively bad.
It's not,
Even without the colorism, it would just be a bad song. But
yeah,
then she decided to do her minstrelsy. So I mean, what else can you call it? She spray paints herself my complexion basically, which you're not a yellow bone if you're my complexion, bitch. Like, get over that. But you paint yourself brown, uh, and then you caterwaul like a cat in heat about uh, how yellow is what he wants. And then you're mad when people go, hey, none of this is cool, man. It's like the opposite of cool is what you're doing. We want you to stop. For your sake, mostly. Please don't. Uh, Everybody unanimously were like, this is bad. Uh, but she did everything from like posting her 23 and me. People were posting pics of her parents who were uh, not black. They're not black. And she's basically like, well, dark skinned girls make songs hyping themselves up. So why can't the yellow bones? It's like, because that's like, nobody makes a song going, the status quo is really neat. Like, everybody who's being oppressed now should continue. Like, that's not what pop music should embrace. But she just said the quiet part loud. He's like, well, you darkies are having fun. Where's mine?
I,
I don't like it when it is not about me.
I I don't think she knows what words mean to engage in this discourse. To even have begun the discourse by having a song.
Not at all.
Like she doesn't she didn't know enough information to correctly write this song. And I think it starts from there and getting somebody to realize that, oh, the very genesis of my artistic endeavor was wrong. That's a lot. Like, no,
Well, what's funny is that she is dating another rapper who, well, not my favorite, actually has talent. And both of the mother of his children are brown skinned, darker women. And he has said in a couple of his songs that that is his preference. So I think it's kind of ironic that she comes out with this song
I
saying,
mean,
no, what he wants is yellow. Um, which sounds like they could have kept that like between them.
yes.
So we didn't have to listen to it.
There's a lot of discussions that did happen that we didn't need to be privy to, and a lot of discussions that didn't happen that should have happened.
Yeah. And she kind of pulled a Lana Del Rey. And she was just like, well, I've dated so many chocolate men and I have melanin friends. That's not a phrase that people who talk to Negroes on a regular basis use. Melanin friends.
I mean, like I said, I think it she does not have the tools for this entire episode, the social episode. So I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
I wish she would stop.
Yeah, but the thing is, in her apology, she says colorism is a real thing. So I do get it, but I'm not that. I'm not a colorist. I'm not a racist. I date a whole chocolate man.
Right.
Yeah, that don't do that, folks. Please.
I mean,
For the sake of all negrodom, stop.
we need to get the chocolate discourse out. When I get all 6 infinity stones and I change the way thought works without anyone realizing it, we're going to stop labeling porn with black people in it ebony, and we're going to stop referring to black people as chocolate. And it's just going to be gone from our language, and we're just not going to know why. It's because I got all 6 infinity stones and I fixed that shit because it's fucking annoying. It's stupid.
Yeah, like though I do kind of want I said last episode, I'm working on this fiction thing, and I was toying with the idea of only using food to describe white people, but then I realized like, what the hell am I gonna say?
That gets gross though. Like
It
it's
gets
like
real gross.
it gets
real
gross.
Bad.
Like we're talking like things like tapioca, mayonnaise, water crackers. Like they're not like these are not these are bad ways to describe white folks if you're using food. You know what I mean? Seltzer. What else? What else? What else?
Well, I was thinking like rare pork. I don't know.
Raw chicken.
Boiled goose.
Boiled.
I don't know.
Right. You see what I mean? Is this not? You know what? Let's say that. Let's say we stop referring to black people as food before we start referring to white people as food and grossing everyone to fuck out, because it will get real dark if we have to start talking about white people as the most rarest pork we've ever seen, and meaning trying to be
most
positive.
Things aren't like flesh color,
right?
Or like yeah.
Most
so
appetizing. Yes.
Not a lot of food. I think purposely we just don't eat food that looks like people.
Well,
which makes this exercise hard.
Well, you buy it, so it's like it's you look good enough to buy, marinate, and grill over the course of the weekend, girl. That didn't work. I don't know. It's a steep hill we have to climb to start to effectively describe white people as food. Steep hill.
Like for anybody who's like, I'm a poor white person and I don't experience privilege, you never have to think about what food some idiot's gonna use to describe you as. It might be small, but it's some shit you never have to deal with. Like, I'm not saying if you have to be like you have to pass a paper bag test to be black. I don't believe that, but you do have to be black to be black. And I feel like this young lady just decided that she could spray paint herself and cosplay as a whole negress, and this song is a huge wake up call to her, and I hope she cuts this shit out. Uh, and I hope she gets better at music. I do commend her for not going the "oh, you're just jealous of me" route, which I feel like a lot of light skinned people, when they are called out for their colorism or for propagating colorism, just goes, "Oh, you're jealous." Uh, no, I think she did that because we've heard her song and she knows we can't possibly be jealous because one would have to have something worthy of being jealous of. And her musical skills, sadly, just aren't going to cut it. That was a hot mess. What was the other hot mess I wanted to talk about?
There was the great penis robberies.
Oh yes, the great dick capers. So I mean, this is something that happened a couple of times. I think it first got reported all the way in October, and then there was another wave of it happening a little more recently, a couple months ago. But so this Chinese company made a uh, chastity belt for penises, or I guess it's not really a belt, but it's a cage. It's a dick cage, and it is locked via an app. So you could give your dominant your code, and they could lock your dick cage. Now, I'm gonna say I don't care if that's what gets you off. My issue here is, why would you purchase an electronic device that locks your genitals? Something that you can't use. You can't, if this thing is locked, like you can't pee with it. And you're going to use an app without having just uh like a key system, so it could always be taken out. Like there was and also even before people broke into the API, which was very vulnerable, uh, the app stopped working for some people, and they were stuck wearing it due to the unreliability of the app.
No. Those poor
Yeah,
people, those poor penises. Wow.
yeah. But some people had their device ransomed by hackers who said, "Look, we sent you a message. We have your information from the app. We've locked your device and we will not unlock it until you send us some Bitcoin." And I'm pretty sure some people came buckets, but others probably not so much, because it's you can't pee in it. I think if you could like function and pee, people would be like, "Whatever, I'm built for this." But
Like this is like a scowling old man, like old Bruce Wayne with a dick cage on. It's like, give me your best shot. I won't break. So yeah, I have a question though. So some of them, like, they couldn't tell whether it was on the people. So some of those just like locked, right?
yeah, like some people just locked it, and it was like still in the package, or it was on their dresser, whenever they store their dick cage when not in use. But
Talk about a dodged bullet. You're sitting there with it on the nightstand, all of a sudden it like snaps shut, and you just like like pops and snaps shut, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh well, that almost went on my penis. Well then, wow. And then you just come and put it in the garbage and send an email. So, yes. Is this resolved?
Uh, for a lot of people, yes, it has been resolved, but I would not trust any product that locks your genitals where you cannot unlock it without using the app. Because what if your phone dies, or God forbid, you drop your phone in the toilet, or it's like something could go bad with an app. You could just leave your phone on the bus. Like, it could happen. And I mean, I think it's been like a bad couple of months for the adult industry when it comes to you know, cybersecurity. Sex Panther got hacked, or not hacked, but uh exposed. So I'm pretty sure some hackers running around with my old license and my identity documents. I hope I'm not one of the people that got, but uh that's just something that could happen. And when we let these online companies kind of be the stewards of our digital identification information, we're going to get screwed time and time again.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, I feel like that's an ongoing theme of our program is tech-based sex toys going wrong in some critical fashion. Like the fact that, they had invested in and spent the money on creating something that locks without a key,
Yeah. Yep.
which
Which could be broken into. And the thing, they not only broke into the mechanism for locking devices, but they also got people's personal information because they were able to email people and say, "We've locked your device, give us the money." And so not only did this happen back in October, but Sex Panther, that is very recent, that happened this month. Um, Latest reporting on that is uh, the 24th, so only a couple days ago. And also Pussy Cash, which is a um, cam site, they had information breach. So, and it's a lot of times you kind of assume that using the Amazon web services means that it's automatically safe. But if they also don't invest in certain security measures, then those, what do they call those, storage buckets, can just be laying around unprotected, and they're just putting our sensitive information in there. So I would say if you are, especially because so many sex workers now are being forced to have to do stuff online because of COVID, and because what else we gonna do? Now we really have to think about like who are we putting our like private information in the hands of, because some people clearly don't give a shit. And what's really shitty is like uh when TechCrunch reported this, like the only comments are, "Oh, you mean models? They're not really models. They're not runway models." I'm like, are you not going to concentrate on the whole security breach thing? Because I'm sure a lot of non-sex work businesses use Amazon Web Services. And we saw how Parlor, weren't they using Amazon Web Services, and all their shit got rocked. So,
yep.
and this is Jeff Bezos's bread and butter. He made how many billions during the pandemic?
Hmm.
Uh,
You're right.
And yet he his company is leaving our shit bare for people to just do whatever the hell with. I have a problem with that
I mean,
because they always make the story about it being an adult site, but then when you look back, the last two sites I talked about, yes, they were adult sites, but it was Amazon Web Services that had stuff exposed. So is it really the adult nature of this, or is it that this huge service that most websites now are reliant on is not as secure as we've been led to believe it is?
okay, that's a fair point. There's a lot of
But
jank, and there's just a lot of jank. and
Sure.
we assume that all adult businesses are like the video store on the corner, the peep show place. We really do. America really acts like that. So they're like, well, yeah, obviously it wouldn't work. It was filled with whores. Obviously the website wouldn't work. It's built by those strange people, the sex workers. And it's
Yes, yes.
no,
They
it's
can't
not.
be trusted.
I can't be trusted to create a website at all. It's like, obviously, with all those titties, and you can't make a website with no pants on. Obviously, it's indecent. So,
Yeah.
right, we really need to.
Yeah, I
Google
think the
that.
Internet of Things was a mistake because we can't keep it safe. And I don't know why we're not investing in things like so when Google Password Protector does an audit of my stuff because of all these goddamn breaches that have been happening, I have 102 compromised passwords that I have to sit down and like fix because they were like found in compromises and breaches and bullshit like that.
Yeah.
102.
So our energy as a country has gone into high end border protection. We have that electronic motion sensor laser wall dividing America from South America, and yeah, I mean that's what our money went into, and that really highfalutin, technologically advanced, completely functional, completely finished defense wall might have been worth it instead of cybersecurity, which is the thread that connects literally every human to every other human across the globe.
Yeah. So I just hope people. It just seems like such a no-win situation that we're in with cybersecurity, not just as a country, but and not just as sex workers, just like in general. Like our shit is jank.
It's I hope that becomes a focus now that we have competent people doing things sort of. It'd be great to make that move forward. We're not where we need to be technologically. That's why things like Space Force sound really misguided. We're not going to be able to go do anything in space because we.
Are we still doing the Space
Oh
Force?
yeah, no, it's a legitimate branch of the military on documents and shit.
Like,
I thought it was BS until someone I know who's in the service, they got an email from all the branches of the military, and one of the branches was the Space Force. It's legit. Now, how legit for how long, I can't say. But as of right now, it's a legit branch of the military.
I feel like that's a money laundering scheme. They're to funnel things into the Space Force. Like, oh yeah, we need 200 space wrenches, $25 trillion, please.
I feel like they're just going to start yada-yadaing it to the point where it just sounds like a microtransaction. Like, yeah, we can't build this ship without 15 space gems. And it's a proprietary type of material. So we with $5,000 we can then get 15 space gems to proceed with the space project here in space.
I really hope that they get rid of that fiddle faddle.
I mean, let's see where Space Force goes. I'm not going to Space Force. I just want to see who is in Space Force. I want to see what intrepid Americans are in the Space Force. That's it. I just want to see the Space Force like lined up, ready to go into space in a year or two. That's it. I mean, we're already here. I think we're already training people. We already have it. It's already in documents. It's already someone who answers on behalf of the Space Force. And yeah, let's see what you got, guys. Because they might surprise us. They might have like Spartans, like Halo, just like eight dudes with cyber armor on, ready to go into space. Just the best of the best, ready to do the thing.
I mean, I hope not, because that whole Spartan thing, it took a lot of human misery.
I
But then
mean,
again, if we're keeping kids in cages,
it did. Yes,
why not put them in the Spartan program? Because
we
we live in a hellhole.
we stole. All right, in the Halo universe, Master Chief is actually a child soldier, stolen, I think, from the street. Yes, he's an orphan, I believe. So yes, but he's a child soldier essentially. They cut the kids while they were soft and supple, rare pork, if you will, and conducted cybernetic experiments while they were young enough to still be rubber to survive them, and then forced them to grow faster than they would, and then put a suit around them. So yes, Master Chief is a child soldier, Space Force. Da-na-na-na.
Sure, why not? I mean, they already put Cortana on all our PCs because I think Microsoft just didn't play the later Halo games, and they're like, "That's a character, right? Cortana? That's what people will trust to be in all their operating systems,
That
right?"
was when I knew there was a disconnect between Microsoft, the company, and 343, the game studio, because Cortana is essentially leading the end of the world and the AI insurrection. So yes, we really shouldn't be giving her. I mean, if we're keeping with the theme, shouldn't be giving her information. But I think they took Cortana
Yeah,
off. They took
I just
Cortana off.
remember when they were like, "We've installed Cortana," and I was like, "What?
What?
I was like, "You haven't played the latest game, I take it."
What have you done?
Like, Katana's not doing well, like, at all. Like, not even a little.
No, not even a little bit. But like I said, we shouldn't dovetail into Halo talk, I mean, it is relevant. I imagine Cortana
I mean, we have a Space Force now, and Cortana's listening to this conversation as we speak.
and she would, if she felt compelled, she could in fact lock your dick cage forever. So at the end of the day, this is all related, and everything we say is above board here on the podcast. But I just wanted to,
Yeah, like, everybody I always keep getting sent from, like, my normie friends, like, "Oh my god, this is a sex toy, and it has an app, you can play Flappy Bird with your vagina," and I'm like, "Yes, this has been a thing for almost 10 years." Yeah, and I'm like, I'm nonplussed, but I'm like, "Before you purchase this, do you want people to have your pussy data? Because you're putting it out there. They're gonna know your pussy stats. How comfortable do you feel with that?" Maybe it's not a big thing to you, but I want the power of my vagina to be a surprise.
you don't want it to be scouted.
Yeah, I don't want it out in the world. If they know that I can master Flappy Bird with my coochie, like, they would know how powerful I am. And I need to have an advantage.
I like to think that there's somebody handing somebody else a document before you guys go out on a date, and he looks at it and he goes, "My God."
Yeah.
Rank number 4 in Pussy Flappy Bird. Yes, rank number 4 in the world. Yes.
Yep.
And so you have to get ready. But
And then I just like take the napkin from the test and shove it in my cooter, like hit the Wonder Woman stance, and just an origami pigeon comes out or something.
this is what happens when you have a sinus infection. By the way, this is what.
Yeah,
This is why I'm saying That's why I was saying we needed to keep the show within stamina reason, because
I'm getting very silly very fast.
at some point when you're sick, the bottom falls out, and you're just like, now Wonder Woman, now you have made an origami pigeon with your vagina, which means that we need to wrap it up right there.
Yeah. I'm not gonna argue with that. So thank you for bearing with me, and I'm sorry if you're like an ASMR person and you've been hearing my sinuses pop, sculch, pop, and lock. It's gross to me too. I'm sorry. I really can't help it. And thank you for putting up with me. And I guess I'll see you next Tuesday. Oh shit, I forgot. I want to do a quick movie review. So, I don't know if you are aware, there is a Korean American Day. And I was lucky enough to get a screener of a film that is coming out next month, starring my boo from The Walking Dead, Stephen Yin, and it's called Minari, which is like this like plant that you can eat and it's yummy. But it is about a Korean American family um, that are trying to make their way in rural America during the 1980s, and their the parents' marriage is a little strained because of the father's decision to try to start a farm. And they live in like a trailer, and his wife's mom comes from Korea to kind of help the family. And it's a very kind of heartwarming, but also really gut wrenching slice of life story about the Asian American experience that really isn't examined as much. So, what I really loved about this, and I don't think it has to be viewed solely from the lens of Asian Americans. I weirdly enough, I felt more more seen by this movie thinking about my mom's family, which is from Jamaica, and it is, I think, a great movie for the children of those who leave their countries and try to make a life in America, because it really does show how isolating it is. And it has a very unflinching look at the politics of trying to be successful in America. And some of those things I feel are a little more eh, specific to Asian Americans because there is a language barrier. Um, and uh, I think this family, they were in like rural, like Arkansas, or it's like one of those flyover states. And in 1980s, they are fleeing what was like the established meccas of immigration. So they're all alone, and there's really no like Korean church. And those that have immigrated to where they are, they're not really interested in the Korean church because they're the people who like were ostracized. But the meat and bones of this movie is the relationship between not just the parents, but between the young son and the grandmother. And I think it found a special place in my heart because when my parents we moved to this place called Teaneck, New Jersey. It's not that there were no Negroes there, but it was very there wasn't like a lot. It was like very diverse, but I was still like there wasn't a lot of other West Indians. So I did feel kind of isolated culturally. And when my grandmother came, uh, you know, it I know that as somebody who really wanted to fit in, there was this initial phase of like, you're so foreign. What are you doing in my house? Oh my God, you're so embarrassing. And it's hard to see it like a reflection of your younger mistakes on screen, but it is very heartwarming to watch, this little boy discover the love that you have for your grandmother. It is an A24 film, so structurally, you might look at it and say, okay, what's the point? But it is very much a slice of life movie. Um, it is a movie that wants you to go through the emotions of the characters alongside them. It's not trying to beat you over the head with um, like a message, but it's just an exercise in recognizing the humanity of these characters. Um, Minari is supposed to be opening I guess, wide in February. So I don't want to give too much away about it, but I just wanted to say uh, I felt very enriched and seen through this film. So if you are an immigrant or a child of immigrants, I really want recommend seeing this, and not just because the two parents are super hot. Um, Even though this is a movie about poverty, and I have to admit, a couple of times I was a little taken out because I'm like, why don't you guys just go become Prada models? Because you're disgustingly good looking. But they give amazing performances. The child actors in this are amazing, and the actress that plays the grandmother, I think, is really just she just gives such a wonderful performance. So I want to say, thank you, the Korean American Film Institute, for giving me the screener. Thank you to A24 for giving me the opportunity to see it. And please see this film. And I'm so interested to see what my listeners, our listeners, think about it. Okay,